So, welcome once again. We're here in our healthcare space in the Business Transformation Center, and we are going to talk healthcare with Lenovo. So, my first guest, and you've got a guest too. So, let me introduce Hugh. Why don't you give us a little background and tell us a little bit what we're going to talk about today?
Absolutely, Andrew. First of all, thanks for having us. Ingram Micro is a fantastic partner of Lenovo, especially as we're developing and just really setting our foundation on the healthcare platform that we're building on the ISG side of the fence, and that's pretty much from the data center to the edge. I'm Hugh Howard, Head of Healthcare Innovation, Lenovo ISG. And today we have the opportunity to talk a little bit about edge and being able to move terabytes, petabytes of data using our product offering.
All right, so in this case, we're going to be talking about Lenovo as the physical platform, and what's the rest of the solution?
Absolutely, a wonderful solution called Zettar, software solution that's able to basically complement our edge infrastructure and be able to help smart hospitals as well as smart research move data at scale.
And so, I mean, that's obviously healthcare has some very important concerns. One of the things you did mention a little bit about research too. So, two things come to mind. Generically, from healthcare, we think about compliance and security. We talk research. We're a lot of times talking huge data sets.
Absolutely.
And so, it sounds like a pretty interesting solution. And let's get into it and hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Definitely, you're talking about huge data sets, terabytes of data, genomics flows. I'm proud to basically present Zettar Chin Fang, who's going to talk about his software solution that is very complementary to our Edge product offering. Chin?
Yeah. So thanks, Hugh, and thanks for this opportunity. My name is Chin. I'm the founder and CEO of Zettar. And what we do is we deliver a category-leading unified data mover. So unified meaning you have lots of data movement types, and we can tackle them all competently. It's not a classical or conventional point-to-point transfer, application. So for more than 2 years by now, in fact, since 2018, we have been working with the healthcare and the life science vertical. And this industry right now, among all the verticals, the data generated by the HLS vertical occupies about 30%. That's very, very significant, okay? So the practitioners in this field, in this vertical, is facing more and more challenges moving their data from instruments, all kinds of high output instruments. You are talking about cryo-EM, NGS, or photo counting, CT, and all that. Oh,
yep.
Yeah. Not to mention the traditional, more traditional field now. Traditional is precision medicine. Is not truly traditional, but it's been around now. So Intel has been working us for close to 2 years by now, and you see the from what we have seen together, the high-speed instrument. Let me show you a slide. These are typical ones, okay? So all these they are edge devices, even though they are priced differently. For instance, this one is $7 million, 5 meter high. This one is about $2 million. This one is about 600K. This one is 1 million, okay? They are edge devices. So typically they produce more and more data, especially newer generation. How much? This one is about 60 terabytes per day, okay? This one is about 20 terabytes per day. So in any established institutions, typically like a cryo-EM centers, you have about 10 to 20 of these. And this, in a sequencing center, typically you have anywhere from 50 to 100. So multiply by terabytes per day. That's a Nova 6 can produce each run. Okay, you get 0.3 petabytes per
Right.
day. Not too shabby. Okay,
Yep.
so moving data becomes an issue, but moving data is you have to look at it in a holistic manner, integrated manner. That is, you have to consider the infrastructure. I like to use a water transport. When you transport water, well, if you water alone, you can ask your kid to do it. It's trivial. It's a task. But when you transport water from, say, a reservoir to a metropolitan, that becomes an endeavor because it's a civil engineering stuff. Moving large amount of data is the same thing. You cannot just fire up my copy command, Xcopy on Windows, rsync on Linux. No, you can't do that anymore. Okay, you have to use a purposely designed software tool together with the appropriate infrastructure to get it done.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
So
why.
that's yeah. I was going to say, Chin, that's why I'm excited because it's a natural complement to exactly Lenovo and our ISG. Because usually, if you're going to invest this amount of money, millions of dollars in a medical device, then it only makes sense that you have the correct modernization of your infrastructure that's able to move that data that device basically produces, Andrew.
Well, you had brought up the point that this is not just file copy, and in my world, I have a lot of background in server storage infrastructure, and so kind of the other way we do it would be you typically storage system specific replication technologies. But even with that, it has always been a problem from the standpoint of moving that much data to the point where, with the size data sets that you typically talking about, if I were seeding a storage system, let's say at another resource location, and I wanted that data, I would probably ship my storage system to the first location, hook up the wire, copy over the much data as I could, then move it to my other location, and then start my replication process to hopefully get things in sync before the end of time.
Yeah, before the end
So,
of time. Yes.
so how do we do this? What does Zettar bring the solution that enables this on the Lenovo platform?
Okay, if you look at the large-scale water transport system, you typically noticed a couple things very obviously. Okay, one is you have an array of pumps at the pumping station, array of them. That means in software analogy, it's the scale out. And two is you will see multiple pipes, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I mean, again, you need the bandwidth. And then multiple pumps, you need electricity. That's where the Lenovo server again comes in. Okay, so when you move data, and especially you mentioned using the storage device, which is okay. And in fact, Seagate is trying to use the so-called live mobile to do it for many verticals. I know that, but it's, as you can tell, it's inconvenient. Let me say this. You are in healthcare vertical, so you know this PACS. Different vendors' packs are incompatible to each other. Radiologists have to move from one pack system to another just to look at different images. That's awful. They are busy enough, okay? And they have to learn different systems, different commands, different interfaces. That's just counterproductive to the healthcare's productivity, and in turn makes taking care of patients, which is the most important thing, very, very unproductive.
So when we're looking at a solution like this, some of the things that come to mind to me is this really kind of block based, as in we're moving like a full data set, or is it more kind of a streaming protocol where I may not necessarily have transferred everything between locations, but some of it is available? I guess, I mean, other than just it being a tool to get data from one location to another, do I get some other benefits out of the solution?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what this why we call the unified data mover. May I share 2 slides with you so we can talk a little bit more about it? We happen to be working with the DOE national labs and supercomputing centers a lot. Okay, so if you can see there's a blue line here, that's from DOE's most prominent and long-running data transfer or software called Grid FTP, which is also widely used by HLS institutions, special research institutions. This one was done by the US DOE's ES9. Look at ours. You see, that's only per instance. And remember, we can scale out too. Okay, so if you notice that not only we are flat over the normal range and towards the big file range. And you can tell that today the healthcare instruments are producing bigger and bigger files.
Exactly.
So it drops like a stone. Okay, ours stays that flat. So that's an architecture advantage. That's the one you can take advantage of. Now let's look at something else. I will say this. This is a architecture for genome sequencing deployment. Okay, so and let's just look at the next one first. Okay, see, it's exactly the same. Edge, collect the data, transfer to either a core data center or to cloud. You ask streaming and transfer data. They are actually two types of data movement. Okay, major two types. One is to move existing already stored data. That's called bulk transfer. The other one is what I showed here. When you take a photo using your iPhone, the image creates in an iPhone internal storage. You don't immediately get the full video, right? It grows over time. But for the high-speed instrument, this is much faster. There are two types. For cryo-EM, they make a small-sized so-called movies. Almost each one is like a trailer size, a few gigabytes. About 1,000 of them per hour. Okay. Now, that's what we like to use is a conveyor belt analogy. The other one tend to with some high-level, large scientific instruments, okay, like a laser, linear accelerator or nuclear accelerator. Theirs is even more demanding. It's like water flow from fire hoses like this, okay? So make it more abstract in the IT terminology is like this. So that's what we can do. So you have two types. One is a bulk transfer. The other one is a streaming.
Now, one of the things that, so we talked a little bit about the differences in the kinds of data. You mentioned a couple of times about being a scale out type solution. So it, ultimately there is the pipe in between, for lack of a way to put it. But I can create multiple streams, and I guess let's say put those two pieces together. In a lot of cases, I may have different levels of priority of data. So whether it is bulk or streaming data, it may be of higher priority and it's more critical for me to get it more time sensitive, where there's a lot of stuff that as long as I get it there within some kind of time frame, we're good, but it doesn't need to be there at the same level of priority. Can we take, within the application?
Oh, yeah.
Can we set those kind of priorities as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Our vision, Andrew, is to definitely develop solutions, best of breed solutions. And we really feel that we found it with data transfer with Zettar to be our customers' one-stop shop, right? We're gaining powerful real-time insights from data at any of our, server or edge locations with secure, connected, and reliable solutions. And, definitely feel that we found one here. Really excited about being able to evangelize the Zettar Lenovo solution, especially, again, for hospitals as well as sequencing locations, and see exactly what we could do to relieve some of our customers' pain points.
One of the things that we find is that, even with products that are necessarily targeted or marketed towards a certain industry, a lot of times there are a lot of other industries that have those same challenges as well.
Oh, yeah. And Ingram Michael deals with so many verticals. You might as well have a solution that's generic. We work a lot with healthcare and life science verticals.
And that's really kind of the messaging we have for our partners is, yeah, there are, solutions that are targeted at certain industries, but think of it more of the technology has been proven in this industry, not that
Exactly.
it's necessarily a solution for that industry.
Right.
And so be open to, well, what is the actual challenge? What's the
Sure.
business problem that the
Sure.
partner is trying to solve for?
Right.
And think of this in terms of this might be a tool that you're going to need at some point with one of your customers.
Well, absolutely, because especially as we progress in healthcare 4.0 and this digital transformation journey that we're on, Andrew, is that you do have the collaboration of AI, big data, accelerated compute, and 5G, and it's all basically forming a perfect storm, right? And it's a lot of use cases when you say data transfer, energy, right? Seismic data, any big data sets, right? This is something that we can absolutely tackle, address, and then again, basically, find that use case that we're able to identify and basically remove that pain point within that customer.
I think that's going to be one of the big realizations in a lot of industries is data is data,
Yeah,
Right,
and
exactly.
it's valuable when it's in the right place at the right time.
right,
Yes, just like a currency. You
right.
want to have a velocity of money, okay? And money without velocity sitting in the bank account doesn't create value.
Right. Right. And the data is the new oil, right, Andrew?
Mhm.
Data is very valuable, and being able to move it at scale and without low latency is huge. So again, I definitely feel that we have a very impactful, efficient, and effective solution. Definitely would like to see hear the feedback of what's out there in the market, and see what we might do to be able to customize the exact remedy, right, for some of the data movement challenges that might be out there.